Hi, Hashtag Impact listeners. I am Regina Larco, founder of Hashtag Impact and one of your Season 5 hosts. I will bring you encouraging impact stories from Hong Kong. I'm incredibly excited about our upcoming Season 5 that we will launch in winter 2020. Together with my 4 brilliant co-hosts based across the globe, Hashtag Impact Season 5 will address these sustainable development goals. 10 million small compassionate actions would translate into a lot. This is what Matt Friedman, founder of the Mekong Club, said in one of our last Hashtag Impact Classics episodes. As we are currently curating stories for our upcoming Season 5, we are working really hard behind the scenes on researching topics and stories and guests to bring to you that will make the biggest impact. And the more we are putting our heads together and brainstorming, there's one thing that is becoming absolutely clear. To tackle these 17 global goals, we need bold leadership across all sectors and industries. The contributions of big corporations matter just as much as the work of nonprofits and the civil society. In the end, it actually all comes down to that first person, that one person taking that first seemingly small step to be brave enough to take action and challenge the status quo and really embrace these goals and do something about it. Today, I want to highlight one of these individual contributions. 10 million compassionate actions would translate into a lot, Matt said. A former Hashtag Impact guest that really inspired me in how she makes a contribution is our listener, Samantha Aloysius. Her story first featured on Hashtag Impact in autumn 2017. And going back to this recording is such a great reminder for us here at Hashtag Impact that the contributions of our production, of our podcast, counts as well. And so do yours. We are in this together, and if we want to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, it is time for all of us to be brave enough to take action. So, without further ado, please do enjoy one of our favorite Hashtag Impact classics. Today I am meeting with Samantha Aloysius. She is currently volunteering at Crossroads Foundation, and you might remember hearing from their amazing founder, or the son of the founders, we have to say, let's stay accurate here, DJ Bagby, such an inspiring guy. You can hear from him in episode 9, and today we want to hear from Samantha first of all, how you found out about the Hashtag Impact podcast, and also how your work is going at Crossroads Foundation. Samantha, we're a complete stranger.
We are, yeah.
Until a couple of months ago.
A couple of emails ago.
Yeah. When you actually got in touch after listening to a few of the episodes. Yeah. And you left some feedback on our feedback form.
Yes, I did, yeah. So I was listening to a couple of the podcasts, and I just felt like, hey, I really have to get connected to you somehow, because it was just so encouraging and inspiring, the podcasts that I was listening to. And I think it's just about timing, I just chanced upon your podcast. And it was the episode that you were interviewing DJ with at Crossroads, and that was the organization that at that time I was going to be doing an internship with. I was still a little bit undecided, but after listening to his story, I was just like, wow, this is it. I know for sure that I should be just volunteering with Crossroads for a while to just see how it is. So basically, I quit my job just a month before I moved to Hong Kong. Not because I didn't like my job, but I just felt like I needed change Like I actually did enjoy what I was doing before, but I just felt like I wanted to step out of my comfort zone. I just wanted to do something different. And the opportunity with Crossroads came about. So I decided, all right, let's just do this. And then that's it. So I've been volunteering with Crossroads since. I've been in Hong Kong for 2.5 months now.
And you relocated from Singapore,
From Singapore,
right?
yes. I'm originally from Singapore. Yeah, so it's just been such a wonderful experience volunteering with Crossroads. And like I tell my colleagues there, like every day, I feel like I'm learning something new every day. And it's almost like I don't feel like I'm working hard enough there, but rather I just feel like I'm experiencing and gaining so much more than what I'm doing there, because it's just like the work that they're doing is amazing, and the people that I meet there, just listening to their stories, it's so insightful, getting to meet people from really wide spectrums. Like I've got volunteers who are retired like CEOs and the big guys, but here they are giving back their time. And then I've also met with other trainees who are refugees seeking asylum in Hong Kong, and just listening to their stories, it's just so it's so touching, that they're here in Hong Kong, but they're giving back and they're learning. And so I think for me, as a volunteer, being there's just so much that I've learned from this experience so far. So it's been really great. Yeah.
For the people that don't know Crossroads Foundation's work so well, what are parts of the work that inspire you most, or what you felt like when you were looking through? There are a lot of organizations you could volunteer for, right?
Yeah.
What was it that stood out for you, like for listeners that don't know that organization yet?
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe, or how was your personal decision process that you said, that's why it's amazing what they do. That's
Right.
why I want to be involved.
Yeah. So I think for me, I've always been involved in some kind of volunteering work, even back home in Singapore and overseas. So I think for me, I wanted to have more overseas experience, like overseas volunteering exposure. So and that's where Crossroads comes in, because they actually, although they are based in Hong Kong, they actually do a lot of work globally. In terms of resources, distributing resources to grassroots communities globally and not just in Hong Kong. So I think that for me is a plus point, because I get to see what are the other communities out there, and not just in Singapore or in Hong Kong, but there's so much need out there. And just the way that Crossroads is able to link and connect, not just working within themselves, but they work with other organizations, other partners, corporates, that come in together to donate, to donate their time, their energy, their resources, to make sure that all these little communities in the craziest of places, Kazakhstan, for example, I was actually helping out with a distribution to shipping of distributions of resources to this place in Kazakhstan. So it's just these places, it's just really impactful, the work that they're doing. Yeah. And besides that, I guess it's the fact that they take in, they have trainees, like I mentioned previously, with the refugees who are seeking asylum. So from what I know, they're not allowed to work in Hong Kong. So instead, Crossroads take them in, and they give them, they teach them skills, so they're able to, still be doing something and not just be stuck in Hong Kong, or not knowing what to do. And there are things that they can actually do to make their lives more meaningful. And in the process, while they're waiting, to move somewhere else. So these are the little things that really makes it impactful, I guess, to work in Crossroads. Yeah.
I'm sure there were many moments that were very memorable to you now, this last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I also understand the internship is now drawing to an end.
Yes.
So was there anything that stood out for you personally this last couple of weeks?
So definitely. I think there is one segment about Crossroads that I really like, and it's the simulations. So at Crossroads, besides this whole, distributing of resources and stuff that I mentioned, there's this whole segment called the Crossroads simulations, whereby volunteers or anyone who's interested in finding out more about like the work that we are doing, you can actually go through a series of simulations. So, for example, there's like a poverty simulation. There's a refugee simulation. There's like a blind experience simulation, and the rationale behind this is kind of like allowing you to have a glimpse of what it feels like to be a refugee, for example, or a person living in a developing or underdeveloped country, and from there, I guess it's just invoking that emotional side of you to try to be able to understand the shoes, being in the shoes of somebody like that, and understanding the reality of this need in the world, and from there, not just like experiencing it, but what can you do to help from there on. So I personally find these simulations to be so meaningful, and I personally I was involved in the simulations, but the last couple of weeks I was lucky enough to be part of the simulation cast. So I was actually like one of like the doctors in the refugee run. So that was the refugee simulation where like volunteers or corporates, when they were going through the simulations, they would basically, it's like a refugee camp, and they're stuck there for like a few hours, that kind of thing, and they have to go through like what it's like being in a refugee camp and the harsh conditions. So I was playing like a doctor, in the medical, like giving medical aid, and so like it was interesting to look at it from a different perspective of being this medical aid doctor who is trying to help, but then there's nothing that I can do because there's like no medication, there's like little resources, and it's like the way that I have to tell these refugees like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you, like you're probably just gonna die the next day or something if you don't get help. And so that for me was pretty interesting, because like it really allowed me to see the reality of this, and I would probably otherwise not have understood it. Like, I mean, the only times that I read about this kind of stuff is like online on the news, where you hear about all the wars that are going on, but to have a little glimpse of this, it really does make an impact, I think, and it makes me a bit more I feel like I want to empathize a lot more, and like I'm just really glad that Crossroads has this kind of opportunities for people who otherwise would not be exposed to such such situations. Yeah.
I think it takes a lot of guts actually to leave a job. I have to say, I have to get back to that. You left a job to come here to volunteer. What made you take that decision? Was there something, you said you liked your job?
Yeah.
But what made you want to give back to society in the way you do now?
Well, I think for me, as I mentioned previously, I was happy with my job. Like, it wasn't a bad job, but I just felt too comfortable with what I had. I was living with my family. I was home. I had a good job that paid well, and it just felt like I wasn't challenged enough. And I just felt like I had to do something more than this. I can't be doing this forever. And I think a lot of it has also got to do with my experiences growing up. I used to live in China, and being in China, when I grew up in China at that time, it still wasn't as developed as what it is today. So, poverty is so prominent everywhere you go. I would see people on the streets and all that. And whereas I am so lucky, I'm so blessed with what I have. So I think it's just experiences like that really makes me feel so blessed, to that I have all these things and I don't have to worry about, my livelihood. I've got amazing parents who are so supportive of me wanting to chase after my dreams and all that. So I just felt like it's time for me to do something more, to give back, and not just live a life that is only beneficial to myself. And I guess that's where passion comes in as well. Why not make or do a job that allows you to involve your passion in your dreams, so I want to give back, but I don't know how. So I just felt at that time I was at a crossroads, and I was just like, okay, this is it, Sam. Let's just take that leap of faith, quit your job, and give yourself like the next half a year to figure out what is it that you want to do. And of course, like prior to that, I was also doing a lot of volunteering work. So I was actually volunteering in Cambodia for about like 5 months before my job. And again, it's just like being exposed to all these kind of work. It's so meaningful, and I felt like I was happiest during those times. So like I want to like regain that satisfaction again. So I think that was more or less why I decided to, like quit my job, go and do this internship with Crossroads and see where it takes you. And since my move to Hong Kong, like I have not had any regrets. Like it's just been amazing, like opportunities, people that I've met along the way that has sort of like, affirmed my decision to like just step out of your comfort zone and just take that risk. And I have no regrets, I've actually found a job, that is kind of like, it allows me to explore my interests a lot more, because like I'm actually really interested in writing and communications. So now I've landed a job that allows me to do that. So I'm growing in that aspect, and I feel like I want to marry the both of giving back and somehow in the form of communications in terms of writing, like maybe I can be a voice for others through my writing, through content kind of work. And I don't know where it's gonna go, but this is just how I feel like it's been going so far, and it's just been great for me.
So a very impactful decision for your life as well, for your career and professional development. And of course, I mean, I have to ask you a few questions now as well about the podcast, about Hashtag Impact Podcast, because you are, I have to say, the first listener I have come across that is really a complete stranger that has gotten in touch. Because I know out there, if you're listening now, I know there are people out there that I don't know. It's not just my family listening and my friends. I know that there are people out there listening that I don't know where they're at. I don't know what their dreams and visions are, but you actually got in touch. So I just want to encourage other people as well to take that step and get in touch. And I'm just curious to hear, how did you have a favorite episode so far, or what is why do you keep listening? I guess that's my biggest question, because I need to learn as well to make other people keep listening to the podcast.
So I mean, like I said, I kind of chanced upon this podcast, but I have no regrets. I love it, and I think it's one of the best things that's happened to me so far in Hong Kong, because I think it's such a good site for people wanting to know more about like social work and like social causes and like doing good in Hong Kong. If you want to know about the scene in Hong Kong, then this is a really good place to go, because it's such a wide variety of things that people are doing, and it kind of changed my mindset as well to know that, hey, like I don't have to, I mean, there's so much more to social causes that I thought existed, thanks to this podcast, and I think one of the episodes that really struck me was the episode with Dr. Christina Dean, because I really identified with her background, because she was a dentist, and then she moved on to journalism, and then now she's got this whole like organization going in fashion, and it's a crazy move, and I kind of feel like that's where I am with my life right now. Like I was also in public health, and I'm moving on to like journalism, communications, and I aspire hopefully in the future to do something that just really concentrates on social work and social causes. So I think that's why I would want to continue listening to this podcast, because the different types of people that are being interviewed, like everyone is so unique in the gifts and the ways that they are giving back to society. So I kind of feel like there will be something that you can identify with always, listeners out there, like you guys who are listening, I just feel like there will be a podcast that you can identify with. And I guess the reason why I reached out to you was just because I wanted to do more than just listen and take in. Like I really want to give back, and I want to be able to be a part of this change that you guys that all these wonderful people are already doing. So I hope that more of you out there, listeners out there, like don't be afraid to, get in touch with Regina and like see how you can, if you need to know more about like ways to give back, and just contact her, and she'll be really helpful, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I did not pay you.
No, you didn't. No, this is my personal experience.
Yeah. So yes, definitely, I totally agree with Samantha. Yeah, very well said. I'm glad to also connect you to the people that you heard of.
Yeah.
You can, of course, you can find the information on their website. I always put all the links in there in the show notes. But sometimes it's still a bit awkward, just to. Not everyone is that brave, I have to say, like Samantha, just reaching out. So, but if you look up to someone in the podcast that you heard about, I'm glad to just make an introduction or let you know where they're at, because they're always running some interesting events in Hong Kong as well. So, yeah. So I just want to say that Samantha reaching out to me really meant a lot, because it kind of made me understand or feel that it's also worthwhile doing the podcast, that it has an impact as well on young people out there, or people of any age that just want to feel inspired or feel that they have a place where they can find resources, where they can give back in their own way. Samantha, my favorite question. No, not my favorite question. I have so many favorite questions. But a question I want to bring up now in season 2 a lot is because actually that was feedback from the listeners. I asked the listeners, what question should I ask?
Yeah.
So one of the questions that a couple of people brought up actually was to get like more advice and actionable tips for this question. What could everyone do right now, in this very moment, like after listening to this podcast, to make the world a better place? Do you have any ideas?
Well, I think action speaks louder than words, right? So after you have listened to, this podcast or any other podcast, I would encourage you to do something about it. So like I said, go contact Regina, see if there's something specific that you would like to do, drop her a note, say hi, or give her feedback. So then she'll be able to make this even better, and that would already be bringing about great change to Hong Kong society. But I think for me, personally, I would say go and make the first step. If there is something or like an organization or a cause that you might have already been interested in previously, but just never thought about it or never like had the time, I'd say after listening to this, I think this is your cue to like go and just take the first step to making some form of contact with the organization or the person, and just see how it is that you could possibly help out. Because it really doesn't have to be a huge thing that you're doing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to like give up a lot of my time, or like I gotta be smart, I gotta be like this and that in order to give back. It's the little things that really count. And if everybody just did something little, like imagine how much change we can already be making. It's like a ripple effect. It just takes one person, and you can create so much change and so much good for others out there. So action is so much more important than just listening and being passive about things. Yeah.
Definitely take action. I'm gonna take that to heart now as well.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time
No
and
problem.
sharing all this with us. All the best for your the last few weeks now at Crossroads Foundation, and say hi to all the amazing people
will,
there. I have to come out again.
You definitely have to. Yeah.
It's so beautiful out there. It's such a nice place. So if you're in Hong Kong, I'll put the links there. Go there and have a beautiful fair trade shop, beautiful items, actually the biggest one in Hong Kong, and they have a beautiful cafe as well.
Exactly.
So it's not only for volunteers, it's a very inviting and open space for everyone really to come by and to learn more about them, or just have the best chai tea latte in town. Do you like that one as well?
I have tried their chai, it's good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, and you at the same time doing something good as well, because it's fair trade and you're supporting the people that are supporting the organization and the cause. Yeah, so on a rainy, typhoony day in Hong Kong, we're looking out onto the greenery of Hollywood Road Park. I want to say thank you again.
No, I have to thank you for this opportunity, really. Yeah.
And we'll catch up soon.
Definitely.
And hear all about it. It won't be the last time.
No, it won't.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to check out Crossroads Foundation at crossroads.org.hk and reach out to them if you want to become involved. I think you really should. You can also scroll all the way back to episode 9 to listen to that episode featuring DJ Backby from Crossroads Foundation that we talked about a lot today. So you can also just hear his voice, hear his story. It's such an encouraging one. I also love to invite you today to sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss the next episode. Our upcoming #Impact Classics episode will feature Dr. Christina Dean, founder of Redress. Samantha also just mentioned now when we spoke how much that episode with Christina impacted her, and I guarantee you that it will have the same impact on you. Christina is just... I don't even find words. Something else, and you don't want to miss her story. Subscribe to our newsletter at #impact.com/subscribe to be notified when that episode airs. In our newsletter, actually our love letter, as I like to call it, we also share behind-the-scenes bonus material that we don't publish anywhere else. We really peel back the curtain so you can see what's happening behind the scenes at #Impact. We share what inspires us, but also we share the things that don't work out, because that's just what happens. Not everything works smooth all the time. It's a journey. And our community keeps commenting on how much they love that honest sharing in our love letters, and that these actually help them a lot on their own change-making journey as well. So please head over and sign up at #impact.com/subscribe so you will get the next love newsletter delivered right into your inbox. Thank you so much for making an impact by following our journey. I talk to you very soon. Bye.